Hey guys, and welcome to the Fish Room. I'm Rachel O'Leary and it's time for a Tuesday tip. This week I'm going to tell you how I can go a year between cleaning filters. Now you guys are probably pretty familiar with the 150 already. This is my modified Asian Hill Stream tank, and right now it's a bit stirred up because I just did my first filter cleaning in over 15 months. Now, this is not going to apply to any kind of filtration, but it specifically applies to the kind of filtration I've used in this aquarium, which is a corner filter. It is a large piece of foam that I glued in glass braces to hold, that it uses an FX5 filter to drive the filtration in a loop, which is ideal for all these high oxygen fish. And the best part about this kind of filter is that the maintenance is minimal. And with a person as busy as I am and with an aquarium this large, that is absolutely key for me. So all you have to do is, if you ever see the flow slowing down, pull out the foam, rinse it, and put it back. Now, as you can see, it's been about 20 minutes since I did that. Things are still stirred up. But I'm going to show you how I did it, what it looked like, and then the end result as well. So let's get started. I have a couple concerns. I don't know if you guys remember or not, but I'll put a link to the whole series right here. This is one big piece of foam, and I had cut it at the bottom so I'd be able to lift it out. Now, I fully expected to make a monstrous mess of this aquarium to start. And I'm also a little concerned that my bulbitis has infiltrated the foam, which may make it a little bit more difficult to take out. But I think it needs to be done, and I probably won't have to do it again for another year to year and a half. So today's the day. Let's get started. I'm also going to clean the glass, do some vacuuming, and just some general maintenance on this aquarium. First, I'm going to start by turning off the canister, and I'm going to drop the water line. I'm also going to take this time to scoop a bunch of duckweed that somehow magically has gotten into this aquarium. One of the biggest obstacles for me with this tank is that it's so deep, and I'm just not very tall. So it's not the easiest for me to maintain, which I probably should have thought about before I set it up. Now, one of the main benefits to using one of these giant Matten filters is that you don't have to clean them very often. But when you do, you just pull it out. And as suspected, it's making a huge mess. And look at the bulbitis that has grown into it. Kind of cool. So I'm just going to take it to the sink and rinse it. Now, you treat this just like you would any sponge filter. Because I have a well, I can just use straight out of my tap. And I'm just trying to get all the mold out of it. It's really gross. I have made a gigantic mess. I'm taking the opportunity now to vacuum the base back where I installed my braces. Now, if you guys remember correctly, this is installed with two glass braces, which hold the foam in place. And there's a little ledge down there that I just vacuumed all the mold out of. And I'm just hovering my tube over the substrate to collect all of the mold that's accumulated there from me pulling out that corner filter. This has gotten a really good rinse. You can see the roots of the bulbitis have grown through the back of the foam, and that's another thing that I think is really pretty cool about this sort of filter setup, is that the plants can actually infiltrate the entire foam wall. I'm just going to take the opportunity right now to trim off a bunch of the leaves that don't look real great in order to encourage new growth. And I'm just using my fingernails and I'm snapping them off right at the rhizome. And I'll take any leaves that, again, just have any browning to them at all. And I'm actually sinking my thumbnail into the rhizome a small amount too, which encourages it to send out new leaves. See, I'm just nicking the rhizome a tiny amount. Now, something I have to be careful of when I'm putting this back in is that there aren't any fish back there. So all I had to do was slip it right back in. All in all, it's not a complicated thing to do. It's pretty darn easy. As far as filter maintenance goes. Don't be dumb. And again, I'm just going to come back, vacuum my substrate more. And then I'm going to go through and clean my glass and trim some more plants. Now as I go, if I get near fish, shrimp, or things that I don't want to suck up, I just pinch off this hose. And that allows whatever it was to be released from my siphon tube. Now, I only did about a 40% water change here because I know this tank's going to be a wreck and I'm going to have to water change it again. So I'm just going to wipe down my glass, refill the tank, turn the filters on, and then maybe have to do a water change again of like 10 or 15% to vacuum my substrate. Now I'm using the equivalent of a magic eraser here. It does a really good job on the green spot algae I get in this tank. And I literally just rub it along the glass. And it's very minimal labor. You can see it turns green right away. And I can get in these tight spots where I have my hardscape really close to the glass. I'm going to start my refill so that I can restart my filter. And I'm going to continue manually removing this duckweed. Now while I have the top of this tank exposed, I'm going to take the opportunity to prune the buse in here. So this is immediately upon refill, and you can see that it's a bit of a murky mess. But I'm going to time how long it takes to clean up, but you can see how much more pronounced that flow is and how happy the fish are. Well, you can sort of see the fish. It's a bit murky for that. But I'll be sure to show you that in a few minutes. So this is the amount of bulbitis leaves and buse leaves that I trimmed, and it actually needs a lot more. I have made I also made a giant mess. This seems to be a theme in my life and maybe a fish keeping in general. It has now been 40 minutes and everything is pretty clear. You know, 40 minutes for once a year with one of these filters is phenomenal for me. You can see how awesome all the fish look too. I took about 50 leaves off that little buse and you can't even tell. Rhinogobius, the cobitus. They've gotten really big and they've spawned in here. I have tons of those now. I think I added like 7 and there's a whole bunch. It's a hovering loach. More cobitus. This tank has developed subwassertang, which is a liverwort that I didn't put in here. All in all though, I really think this corner filter has worked out way better than I ever could have anticipated as far as its filtering capacity You can see how awesome the flow is up at the surface of the water and how hard the plants are blowing. My water's nice and clear. The plant health is good. Fish are spawning. The little Borneo sucker on the back wall. You know, everything just looks really, really good. And I showed you guys how many leaves I took off this Bulbitis, and again, you can't even tell on that. And actually, there's even more I'm going to go back in and take when I do my maintenance next. You know, I do think it's important to mention I absolutely do weekly maintenance on this aquarium. I do large volume water changes every week. I'll even stick my siphon hose and just push it into that foam to remove some of the debris during my weekly maintenance. But this honestly was the first time I ever cleaned the filter, and I don't anticipate having to do it for another year or so. You know, not only do these filters provide massive biological filtration and chemical filtration by being such a huge piece of foam, but this ease of use is really amazing. And also, if I were to be running a heater, if this was a tropical tank, I could easily keep it behind that piece of foam, again keeping the amount of equipment visible in my aquarium to a minimum. Again, this aquarium's been running about 15 months now. I'm really happy with it. I mean, the plant growth is slow as expected, but you can definitely see the maturity coming in. All my booses are doing awesome. My fish are doing great. The plants have filled in, and I just am tickled pink. I look forward to having this aquarium for many, many years to come. And I do still have some stocking to do on it, and I'll keep you guys updated as I add fish in here. But I appreciate you watching. Let me know below if you have any comments, suggestions, or questions. As always, make sure you stop by my Instagram, my Facebook, and my website, MsJinx.com, where you can see my upcoming speaking engagements, my current stock list, information on all things nano. I'll also be going live at some point this week on my business Facebook page, so make sure you're signed up for notifications there.